Welcome to Car Comparos. Today we'll be comparing the Hyundai Elantra with Hyundai's own smaller sedan, the Verna. So why are we even comparing these two cars? Call it sibling rivalry or call it cannibalization. But the fact remains that any and every Verna customer here on is going to lust after the Elantra standing right beside the Verna inside the Hyundai showrooms. Each of them is going to ask for the Elantra's price list to check if it fits within their budget if they decide to stretch a little bit more. The jaw-dropping price at which Hyundai has launched the Elantra, it might just be within reach of at least those people who were about to put their money down on a top-end Verna. Pricing and features. The top-end manual variant of the Hyundai Verna, the SX O, retails for 12.5 lakh rupees on-road Delhi. Elantra's entry-level manual geared S variant powered by the petrol mill retails for 15 lakh rupees, which is 2.5 lakh rupees, that is around 20% more expensive than the Verna SX O. That translates to a difference of around 3900 rupees in the EMI for a standard 5-year loan. The top-end Verna understandably has way more features than the base Elantra, like side and curtain airbags, fog lamps, automatic climate control, navigation, push-button start and smart key, parking camera, parking sensors, electrically folding mirrors, leather upholstery, auto-dimming inside mirror, rain-sensing wipers, and telescopic steering adjustment. But hardly any of them are really crucial except for the side and curtain airbags and the parking camera. The base Elantra hardly has any extra features over the Verna except for the rear AC vents and auto-up anti-pinch windows for the passengers. Fuel efficiency. The Elantra petrol has an ARAI certified mileage of 14.6 kmpl for both the manual as well as the automatic variants, which is 2.8 kmpl less than the Verna petrol manual and 2.5 kmpl less than the Verna petrol automatic. In our real-world tests, the manual Verna was just over 1 kmpl more efficient than the manual Elantra, while the Verna automatic was over 2 kmpl more efficient than the automatic Elantra. The Elantra diesel manual has an ARAI certified fuel efficiency of 22.5 kmpl, which is 2.3 kmpl less than the Verna, while the automatic Elantra diesel is rated at 18.2 kmpl, which is 5.7 kmpl less than the Verna diesel automatic. However, in our back-to-back tests, the difference between both the manual as well as the automatic versions of both cars was just over 1 kmpl. Reliability and after-sales service. Hyundai's almost perfect record for product reliability and service support is no secret. It is second only to Maruti in our country. Sky-high resale prices of Hyundai cars really do speak for themselves. However, do not expect either the Elantra or the Verna to be light on the pocket. You will have to shell out large sums of money to maintain these cars. But Hyundai will at least ensure that you feel like you are getting your money's worth at every visit to the service station. Resale and cost of ownership. Barring a few exceptions like the Keds, Hyundai cars usually hold excellent resale value thanks to their remarkable track record of reliability and service. Both the Verna as well as the Elantra are bound to fetch good money when you finally decide to part ways with them. Overall, the Elantra S petrol works out to be 2 lakh rupees, that is around 20% more expensive than the Verna SX O in terms of its overall ownership cost over a usage of 5 to 7 years. Similarly, the diesel-powered Elantra S works out to be just over a lakh and a half rupees more expensive than the Verna SX O diesel. The Elantra SX80 petrol automatic though works out to be over 4 lakh rupees more expensive than the Verna SX80, while the flagship diesel automatic Elantra SXO 80 will cost a whopping 4.3 lakh rupees more than the Verna SXO 80 diesel automatic. Performance and drivability. Verna's 1.6 petrol is pretty evenly matched to the Elantra in terms of performance. Verna makes up for its 200 cube disadvantage with a 200 kg advantage in curb weight compared to the Elantra. It's a crying shame that Hyundai couldn't equip a car with a starting price of 15 lakh rupees and which is expected to compete till at least 2020 with a turbocharger, especially considering that even Tata has managed to fit one in the Bolt having a starting price of under 6 lakhs. Both the Elantra as well as the Verna's petrol engines feel very similar in character with excellent refinement and linear power delivery. The Elantra feels a tad more silent than the Verna thanks to better noise insulation of its cabin. However, both engines tend to get slightly harsh when they approach the red line. Both the Elantra and the Verna 1.6 diesel are powered by the very same CRDI engine. Thanks to Verna's lower curb weight, it has better performance than the Elantra across the rev range, albeit by a very small margin. You will hardly notice the difference even if you drive both the cars back to back. That being said, both cars do suffer from copious amounts of turbo lag anywhere below 2000 rpm, making them a bit of a chore to drive in city traffic. Although Hyundai does offer an automatic option for both the petrol as well as the diesel powered versions of both the cars. Space and comfort. The Elantra, being a considerably bigger car than the Verna, has much better space inside its cabin, but the Verna itself has way more than adequate room for 5 occupants inside it. In fact, the Verna has more than enough legroom and legroom for two 6-footers to sit one behind the other. However, with 3 passengers occupying the rear seat, things tend to get a bit too tight for comfort inside the Verna. The Elantra's extra 100 mm width liberates some extra elbow room, especially when 3 larger-than-life personalities decide to get on board. Surprisingly, Elantra's 475-liter boot is 35 liters smaller than Verna's 510-liter boot volume. However, where the Elantra scores massively over the Verna is in terms of the sheer luxury and ambience of its cabin. The design, fit finish, and materials feel absolutely top-notch, making Verna's rather well-appointed interiors feel cheap and flimsy in comparison. Handling and ride quality. The Elantra is still a long way off in terms of dynamics compared to its European competitors. However, the Verna is noticeably worse. Elantra's high-strength steel construction has made it much more rigid than the model it replaces. It inspires much more confidence while cruising at high speeds than the Verna does. Elantra's steering also feels better weighted than the Verna's excessively light steering rack. However, steering feel is still a miss on both the cars. Verna's ride feels soft and mushy, which may be good for low-speed commuting, but it wallows and gets skittish while negotiating a series of undulations. The Elantra, on the other hand, feels a bit stiff at low speeds, but the ride improves as the speed picks up. Disappointingly, neither of these cars is even a least bit of fun around the bends. That brings us to the verdict. The Elantra comfortably wins this comparison. The 4S Fluidic Verna is on its way out. It will soon be replaced with the Elite i20's sedan version. If you buy one, you will be stuck with a discontinued model within less than a year's time. The Elantra, on the other hand, is the sign of things to come. Agreed that it is quite a bit more expensive than the Verna, but then it is also a far more superior car than the Verna. The sheer opulence and attention to detail lavished by Hyundai on the Elantra used to be reserved only for some avant-garde metal till now. It's actually a bargain if you compare it to the offerings from Europe, and being a Hyundai, you can rest assured that it won't make you pay through the nose at the service station. At the end of the day, if you buy the Verna, people will always look at you as the guy who just about couldn't afford to buy the Honda City. But if you buy the Elantra, people will look at you as the guy with a car that even Honda City buyers couldn't afford to buy.